Hey, it's Jen, your counselor from Soulutions Counselling. Yes, if you haven't already guessed, I have a cold. And today we're going to be talking with somebody who was married at a very young age, 18. So we have a few questions. We want to get to know what it's like to be married at that age. And my guest today is Keanu Hick.
Good speaker.
All right, so I understand that you got married at 18 and then moving forward had 2 children. And yeah, tell me a little bit about that experience when you guys met. Let me start here. Were you a social person as you grew up?
No.
Did you have many girlfriends?
After grade 10 or about grade 10 is when I started dating, and I didn't have any period. Since then I've been dating. I've always had someone around or
Right.
what have you, right? One high school relationship, one kind of before that, and then right afterwards I met my ex-wife. And
Well, you're still married now.
yes,
Yeah.
still married. And since then just going through the divorce. But the last 8 years, I've basically been in a relationship, just different people.
So, and you and your ex-wife, or soon-to-be ex-wife, met how many years ago?
Would be about 6 years ago now.
So you would have been...
just over 6 years. I was 17 when we met.
Okay,
That
and...
We worked together at A&W. Nothing was really there. Just one day, she was hurt, had to send her home sick. I was her boss. Went to go check up on her. One thing led to the next, and a month later I had moved in, and a couple months later she got pregnant. We had our...
So if I can just ask you, what started that? Like, why did you feel the desire or the need to move in a month later?
At that time I was living with my mom. I didn't like things at home. Here was an opportunity to move out with someone that I was having a lot of fun with. And I was 17 and didn't know a lot, and I thought it would be a great idea.
So what did your mom say?
She packed up my stuff and dropped it off for me. She said, I can't remember if she told me to not go or stay, but I don't think it was stay because she wanted me to pay rent and I didn't want to. I should have listened because I would have, I would have had a nicer house and I would have been paying a lot less had I stayed at home. But, sometimes you have to learn the hard way, I guess.
So what were the lessons that you learned from, like, let's say, before you had kids, because you moved in?
Yeah.
And what were the signs? Like, obviously you were falling in love,
Mm-hmm.
and you felt very close with this woman or girl, and she was young as well.
Mm-hmm.
How old was she?
She would have been 18.
And what about her parents? How did her parents?
Her parents liked me. It was a bit of a shock, I guess, when she went and had to go tell her dad that she was pregnant.
But what about moving in together? How did that go? Did you guys actually live on your own?
She had a coach house, so she had already moved out of home. And so me moving in was no real issue.
And for the first, how long was it good, or?
Yeah, it was good. It was lots of drinking, partying, and you're alone in your own separate house. So, life was great.
So is it the lust? Did you find it lust, love,
Looking
sex? What brought you
back
to
at
that?
it was definitely a mix of both. That kind of young guppy love when you kind of
You got the butterflies?
yeah, you got the butterflies, and you just go, oh my god, this person's great after you've known them for a week, and you just don't know when you're that age. You just don't know what you're getting into.
And that's of course, and so many people out there that were, or that are that age that you were,
Mm-hmm.
probably have many questions, and you guys can connect with us. Down below you'll see a way of connecting with me, and I can certainly, confidentially, if you allow me to, we can pass on some questions and answer them for you. But you found that because of your maybe not feeling socially accepted, but you felt socially accepted with this gal.
Yeah.
And you moved in and you felt that safe feeling.
Yeah.
And that's when you got into misery loves company sort of thing.
Yes. Probably about 3 or 4 months after I moved in, she got pregnant. She had been given antibiotics, and that kind of took away the effect of birth control. And so, after 9 months of a very torturous pregnancy where she was sick 24/7 basically.
And I mean, you had mentioned that she was actually vomiting.
Yeah,
the whole pregnancy.
The entire, nothing could stop it. Every second day I was at the hospital. I was working 6 days a week, trying to do everything I could. Before our son was born, we moved into an apartment building that we couldn't afford, basically. I don't know how we did it. Somehow we figured it out. And, 9 months of torture. And then our son was born. And then you kind of go through the initial phase of having a family and having this little person that you got to take care of and you're responsible for. And that's...
Did that bring you closer together?
Yes.
At that moment in time?
Yeah, absolutely it did.
And so
but that's not to say we didn't have our issues and our struggles. There were definitely short periods of time where we had a very happy relationship, even though it didn't start off very healthy.
So when did you get married?
March 2010.
And
2012.
Okay, and so before your son came along then?
He would have been three or 4 months old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
When we got married.
So how did you feel?
I just kept working and...
But emotionally, I guess, is what I'm asking you.
Emotionally worn out. Very worn out. Because aside from everything that I was doing, physically or taking care of bills or kind of necessities of life, there's also that emotional aspect that I struggle with on my own, and that's another kind of need in any relationship or marriage to try and take care of. Then, at 19, you're also trying to be a father, a husband, and raise a family, take care of a family. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. Sometimes you reach the point where you just put your hands in the air and go, you know what, like I can't do this anymore. I need a break or something, right? Communication goes a lot better when you spend most of your time sober. Actually working on things. Depression, though, can kind of screw with that postpartum. And having a baby, waking you up every 2 hours does not do anything good for, yourself. Even when we would alternate. I remember we would alternate because, she struggled breastfeeding. So he had to be bottle fed. So we would alternate, it'd be, someone would feed him right before bed. One person would get up, it'd be about 3 hours. And then we'd alternate, so to try and share that load, so at least you got 6 hours of sleep without a break, right? And it still puts there's a lot of strain. It's not, there's a saying, it takes a village to raise a child, and it really does. We counted on her parents to help, her friends, my family. And communication as a whole kind of struggled, I think, because we were trying to figure out how to be parents, how to be married, and we never got to know each other. We never spent any time trying to learn each other as people. We had 3 months before anything, but that was basically spent drinking and having a good time and not really, it wasn't serious. It wasn't, trying to find out deep, meaningful things or find answers or figure out who we were as individuals and realize where we had come from and our backgrounds. After she gets pregnant, I find out she was Christian. And I personally at that time was an atheist. I had no interest in religion, or it meant nothing. It meant nothing to me, right? I knew nothing about it. That's kind of a big thing when you're, with someone, right? And so just the lack of knowledge and understanding about each other was really, that was another thing to work on, where it's normally, you meet someone, you get to know them, you spend time with them, then you might move in or decide to live together. You figure out who each other are as a couple, and learn to work with that before ever thinking about family. Well, we just skipped all of that and figured we're just going to do everything at once. And let me tell you, it's tough. Yeah.
So if you could say anything to people in high school going through this, what would you say to them? Like, let's start with moving out,
Mm-hmm.
not agreeing with your parents. You can't lecture people because, of course, we're all going to walk our own walk. That's what makes us who we are, right?
The more you step out in the real world, the more you realize how much you don't know. And when you're 17 and 18, you think, oh, I got it all figured out. I know what I'm doing. This is going to be awesome. Life is great. And then your truck breaks down for the first time and you're going, what do I do?
Who's going to pay the bill?
Yeah, who's going to pay the bill? Mom and dad, they ain't always going to be there to bail you out.
Where's that package of cigarettes coming from?
Yeah.
Where's that alcohol coming from? Wait a minute, I need a joint.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
And then baby comes along.
That's about it. Life gets very real very quickly, and it's so important to spend time figuring out yourself and getting to know those around you.
And what about family? Like, do you wish that you had spent more time trying to understand your mom's thoughts?
It's hard to figure that out because I love my mom, I do. We've always kind of had this different kind of relationship, and I think I'm not sure about that yet. It's still a work in progress.
So you would have moved out regardless or not? Do you advise people at 17 or 15 or 16 to move out?
No. Stay at home. If you can stay at home.
Even though your parents are driving you absolutely insane, would you stay at home?
They're driving you nuts. If you can stay at home, there's a lot of benefits to it. Moving out isn't always the best option.
So you would barricade yourself in your room and just...
No, you don't have to barricade yourself in your room. Like, you could still go out. It's just more of like, practicality.
When you're at home.
When you're at, yeah, you know what, you get a lock on your door, you're okay, right? There is one thing is you need to make sure that, if you're at home and you're 19 and you're 20, that's when you start to begin to realize, okay, you're an adult now. You need to, if there are issues at home, you need to set, your own boundaries, right? Like, Mom shouldn't be coming into your room at, when you're 21, I don't think, and cleaning up, your food from the night before, okay? Like, it's like, come on, like, you're supposed to be an adult and you should be able to take care of yourself. Because as soon as you move out, well, you know what, maybe everyone should move out for like 6 months, right? Then you figure out, the dishes don't get done, I have to do my own laundry, bills need to get paid,
right.
And holy crap, I can't spend my whole paycheck on alcohol. It just doesn't work anymore, right?
Okay. So... That's been great. I think if any of you guys want to connect with myself or Keanu, we would be glad to answer your questions. I'm so glad you took the time to sit and listen. I hope this has helped you. If you're in this situation, or if you're older, or if you're a parent or a sibling and you feel something and you want to learn how to talk to your brother, your sister, your son, your daughter, anybody at all, then connect with me and I'll help you out and show you the way. Anyways, have a great New Year's, you guys. From me, Soulutions Counselling, to you.